Hello and welcome to Daily News Simplified, an answer to what, when, and how of newspaper analysis from the perspective of UPSC examination. Today we have taken up important news and article from The Hindu and Indian Express newspaper dated 10th November 2023. Topic, as you know, that discussion will be segregated into two sections. First section would be prelim centric. So here we have taken up four topics. The first topic is related to volcano because there is a volcanic eruption of course Japan, which has resulted into formation of a tiny island. Second is related to Euclid Mission and developments related to it, and UPSC has been asking question based on important scientific development in the field of space exploration. Third is related to Panchayati Raj institutions because of significant development in the state of Nagaland, where a bill for reservation of 33% to women in Panchayati Raj institution has been passed. The fourth topic for prelims is related to the coffee production because as per the new claims, due to erratic monsoon, the production has slipped by 30%. For the mains discussion, we have taken up topic of NBFC, that is non-banking financial company, because there is a report, first edition of a report which is published by an independent organization, which was made by RBI, and it has highlighted some merits as well as some concerns related to condition of NBFC in India. Second, there is a proposed legislation in UK. There is a bill which is tabled before House of Commons, and development related to this bill is somewhere connecting India to India also. So we have taken up this discussion. And the third topic that we are going to take up is related to deep fakes because of various news and you may say unfortunate news and incidences related to deep fake in India. So before moving on to discussion, there is an important announcement that there would be no DNS for subsequent 3 days, that is 11th November, 12th November, and 13th November because of Deepavali festival. And we will see you again on 14th November with the new session of DNS. So from the Raus IAS team, we all wish you a very happy Diwali. So without any further ado, let's begin our prelims discussion. So as we discussed that first topic that we are going to cover is related to this news article which featured on page number 18 of Indian Express newspaper. Now as I told you that there is a volcanic eruption of course Japan, and it is an undersea volcano eruption, and due to which a tiny island has been formed. So geophysical phenomena is an important theme from the perspective of UPSC examination. It has repeatedly asked questions in prelims examination. As you can see here in 2018, it has asked a question based on Barren Island, which is a volcanic island in Indian territory. So we have taken up a practice question, and question says, with reference to volcano, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, underground volcano forms sea mounts and new islands. So now after going through the news, you already know that underground volcano, when the magma in shape of lava comes out of these underwater volcanoes, they pile up and they give rise to sea mounts. And when this the level of this you may say the level of this lava when grows upwards and crosses the sea level, it can also results into formation of an island. So this is a correct statement. Then the second statement says that primary succession occurs on newly formed island. So as you all have read about the primary succession that happens on the bare land, or you may say you all know about the primary succession in your environmental studies, where pioneer species takes up the job in form of lichens and grasses. So yes, if there is a new formed island, then there is going to be a primary succession. So this statement is also correct. Now, third statement says that highest concentration of volcano is in Russia. Now, this statement is incorrect because highest concentration of volcano is in United States of America, and it stands at around 165 volcanoes. Fine. And this count is followed by Japan at the second place, Russia at the third, and Indonesia at the fourth place. So third statement is incorrect, and as you had to find the correct statements, our answer would be B, that is only 2. Now, let's take up this question. I will show you the inspiration for this question after discussing the question itself. So UPSC has always interested and has always asked question based on space exploration and developments in that field. As you can see in 2020, it gave a description of a mission, space mission, and you had to identify the mission itself. So let's take up the practice MCQ, which is based on Euclid Space Telescope. So statement 1 says the wide angle Space Telescope has been developed by National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Now, this is an incorrect statement because this is not developed by NASA but European Space Agency. It is a space telescope with an aim of creating a 3D model of the universe, and basically it wants to trace the black matter and its role, the distribution of black matter and its role in the initial universe, formation of universe. So the second statement, that the primary objective of the telescope is to observe the solar atmosphere and solar flares, is also incorrect because its aim is to understand the process of the formation of the universe through the study of the black matter. So, dark matter. So, both the statements are incorrect. So, our answer would be D, that is neither 1 nor 2. So, inspiration for that question comes from this news, which featured on page number 12 of the Indian Express newspaper, in which the European Space Agency has first time published the pictures taken by this Euclid mission. Fine. So let's move on to the next question, which is based on this news. As we discussed that Nagaland government has passed a bill reserving 33% quota for women in urban local bodies. Okay. So why it is significant? Because this was a contentious issue based on the arguments relating to preservation of customary laws of Nagas. And due to this issue, there was no election to municipal corporations since last 2 decades, that is 20 years. So this move is going to pave the way for the elections in for the urban local bodies in the state of Nagaland. So local self-government has been again an important theme from the perspective of UPSC examination. As you can see in 2017 itself, it has asked a question based on feature of local self-government. So we have taken up a practice MCQ which says that with reference to Indian federalism, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, Constitution of India provides protection to ownership and transfer of land in case of certain states. Fine. Statement 2 says, Constitution of India provides protection to customary laws and procedures of certain tribes. Now, if you will refer to Article 371 subclause A, Part 4, it states that no act of parliament shall apply to the state of Nagaland. So there are cases where Constitution of India provides protection to ownership and transfer of land, as in the case of state of Nagaland, as it says that no act of parliament shall apply to the state of Nagaland unless the legislative assembly of Nagaland by resolution so decides. Now, statement 2 is also correct, as Article 371, subpart 2 states that no act of parliament shall apply to the state of Nagaland uh, unless the legislative assembly of Nagaland by resolution so decides to protect their customary laws or practices. Fine. So this was the argument of Nagaland government, that it is our custom, and in our custom it is not mandatory, or it is not required to provide reservation to women. And Supreme Court has denied this argument, and said that this argument cannot act as a hedge against providing the reservation to women. And accordingly, now the Nagaland government has passed this bill. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be C, that is both 1 and 2. Now, the last question from the perspective of prelims exam is based on this news article, which featured on page number 16 of the Hindu newspaper. Now, this news article, as we discussed, says that various tea producers have claimed that coffee output has slipped by 30% due to untimely rains. Now, UPSC has asked question based on tea board and coffee production in India, as in 2022. It has asked the states in which coffee is being produced in India. So we have taken up a question which is based on the conditions for which are conducive for the production and growth of coffee, as well as we have taken a statement based on the status of production and export of coffee. So you have to find the correct statements. In this question, statement 1 says coffee plant requires cold conditions to grow, and that is why they are mainly found in northeastern mountains. Second statement says high and well distributed rainfall is beneficial for its production. Now, before looking at the third statement, let us look into the growing conditions for coffee, and we will look into the temperature and the rainfall, because statements are based on those two criteria. So here the temperature is the conducive temperature is 14 to 26 degrees Celsius, and growth is most rapid in hot and rainy season, not cold. So cold temperature is not required. Secondly, it says that for the rainfall part, it says that it needs high rainfall and should be well distributed. High rainfall, that is in the range of 100 to 200 centimeter, and it should be well distributed. So the first statement, that it requires cold condition, is incorrect, while the second statement, that it requires high and well distributed rainfall, is correct. Now, the third statement says that India is not the largest coffee producer, but still it is the largest exporter of coffee in the world. Now, this statement is again incorrect, because both these ranking belongs to the Brazil. It is the largest producer as well as largest exporter of the coffee in the world. So, as you had to find the that how many of the statements are correct, answer would be A, that is only one. So that's all from the perspective of prelims examination. Let us move on to discuss the mains section. And for the mains section, the first topic that we are going to take up today is related to non-banking financial companies, that is NBFCs. Now, this news editorial featured on page number 12 of Indian Express newspaper. And it says that in its maiden report of Center for Advanced Financial Research and Learning, which is an independent body created by RBI, and its maiden report is named as India Finance Report. So this is first edition of this report, and it has raised some issues. Firstly, it has said that post-COVID shock, the NBFCs are doing better in almost all the dimensions. Their financial health and overall performance is improving. But the second thing, which is very important, this report has highlighted that during the, you may say, favorable period, economic period, we became complacent. And we tend to repeat the mistakes which were cause of the crisis that NBFCs faced during 2018. You all must be aware of the debacle of ILFS. Okay, ILNFS, that is infrastructure leasing and financial services, IL and FS. And the economic stress that IL and FS faced resulted into a domino effect. And there was a threat that it will become Lehman moment of Indian economy. That is, spillover effect will impact each and every corner of economy, and it had potential to push Indian economy into slowdown altogether. So this report is has raised the issue that we must not be complacent about those errors that we made at that point of time, and we must work in a direction so that the prudent economic practices of these NBFCs can be maintained for a longer duration. So, if you will refer to your general studies paper syllabus, paper 3 talks about mobilization of resources, economic development, as well as inclusive development. So, in subsequent discussion, you will find that NBFC kind of touch upon each and every aspect of it. Now, prelims per se, UPSC has been asking several questions related to banking sector, various key terms or developments or different types of banks. So you can anytime expect a question based on NBFCs and its features. From the mains perspective, uh, if you will look at this NBFCs from a holistic perspective, it can be used as a fodder for your answer in GS paper 3 answers, as well as you can use some issues which are overlapping, which many sectors are facing. So you can use these facts and arguments and the issues in other sectors also, because you will find in the discussion that various issues are overlapping in economic sector altogether. So in this discussion, what we are going to see, we are going to look into what are NBFCs, how they are different from the commercial banks, the regular commercial banks. Then what are the issues or the challenges related to the working of NBFCs which have created trouble and which have potential to create trouble in future also. Then we will look into its impact. Then if there are issues, then there must be some impact, and then we will look for some way forward, that what should be done to improve the situation. But before that, you can try to attempt this question that was asked in UPSC 2021 and which was related to urban cooperative banks. Try to attempt this question and let us know your answer in the comment box. So let's move on to the main part of discussion, that is NBFCs. Fine. So first thing that one should ask is, what is NBFC? And to understand NBFC, you must understand what is shadow banking. Now, shadow banking is set of economic operations, set of economic activities which partially or completely, I'm writing here word fully, uh, set of economic activities which partially or fully operate outside of the environment that of traditional commercial banking. And NBFCs, that is non-banking financial company, as the name suggests, they are different from bank, but they are also involved in the commercial activities like lending, like investing. Okay, so they have certain features which make them different from the traditional commercial banks. Traditional commercial bank, by saying this, I mean State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, or any other bank. Have you heard about the Bajaj Finance Company? Bajaj FinServ, you might have used the app. Muthoot Finance or Shriram Finance. All these are examples of non-banking financial company because they operate partially or fully outside the ecosystem in which the traditional commercial bank operate. And how are they different? Here we have listed some difference. What makes NBFCs different from the commercial banks? So first thing, you must understand that banks, if you go into bank, you can open, they accept all kind of deposit like term deposit or recurring deposit or demand deposit. What is demand deposit? Simple. Demand deposit is something which you can withdraw your money whenever you want to. So, as the name suggests, when you will demand the money, the bank will give you the money. Either you can use your ATM to withdraw the money, or you can use the check to withdraw the money, or you can use the DD to withdraw the money. Fine. Or to give someone the money. So whenever you will demand, bank is going to give you the money. Fine. So commercial bank, as you know, SBI, PNB, all, they accept all types of deposits. But NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. Okay. Certain NBFCs can accept term deposit, and that too for a longer duration. But they cannot accept demand deposit. They cannot give you a saving account or a current account. Okay. Now, you know that there is a government guarantee against your deposit that is applicable to the bank. It is kind of insurance to your deposit. Now, in NBFCs, there is no insurance against your deposit. There is no government guarantee. Fine. Third is, as I told you, that you can use ATM, you can use check, RTGS, NEFT, anything in bank. These payment and settlement system are not supported in NBFCs. You will not get ATM card for Muthoot Finance. You will not get ATM card for Shriram Finance or Bajaj Finserv. You will get a digital number, digital card. You are not going to get a physical ATM card that I want to withdraw 500 rupees from an ATM. No, they will not allow. Because they cannot entertain such deposits and such payment settlement system. Okay. Then the difference comes at the level of foreign investment, for which there is 74% foreign investment which is allowed in the banking sector, that is commercial banking, while 100% FDI is allowed in the NBFCs. Now there are some requirement like cash reserve requirement, capital adequacy requirement, SLR requirement. Now these three are applicable to the bank. They have to maintain the cash reserve ratio. They have to maintain the CAR. They have to maintain the SLR. But these are for cash reserve requirement. NBFCs are not required to maintain one. For CAR and SLR, only when they are systematically important NBFCs. Systematically important, that is asset valuing more than 500 crore. Okay, so if an if a NBFC is having asset which is valuing more than 500 crore, it is termed as systematically important NBFC. For them, capital adequacy ratio is mandatory, and that is 15%. SLR is for the deposit taking NBFCs, not for all, again 15%. Another important distinction between these two is banks are regulated under Banking Regulation Act of 1949, while NBFCs are incorporated under Companies Act. Fine. So these are the difference which distinguish NBFCs from a commercial bank. So when we have a commercial bank, then the first question should be that should interest you, that why we need NBFCs. Now you all know there are certain regulations. Fine. And these commercial banks, traditional commercial bank, are bound by such regulation. So access to credit is very difficult. And here comes the NBFC. Okay. Second thing, so the accessibility of credit through NBFCs is much easier than the commercial banks. Second, NBFCs have trapped the areas where the commercial banks have failed to reach, the sectors as well as the spread. So where there is a vacuum or gap of services of traditional commercial bank, NBFCs have went there and provided their services. And you can understand the importance of NBFCs just by referring to a 5-year data ranging from 2015 to 2020. In 2015, the balance sheet of NBFCs stood at rupees 21 lakh crore, while in 2020, it reached around 50 lakh crore. In 5 years, it doubled, more than doubled. So that is why their reach is more than the commercial bank. The accessibility is better for the consumers of those who want loan or investment. So that is why NBFCs are thriving, and we need to maintain a robust and growing economy. So these are the merits, and you can see with the data that they are very popular and acceptable and working well in the Indian economic ecosystem. Fine. So we must look, as the report says, that we must not be complacent about the risk associated. So we first we should look into why what are the reasons for the NBFC crisis. Then we will look into what are the impact of such crisis. Fine. So first reason is the asset liability mismatch. Now here two words are there. One is asset, one is liability. Now take this example. Now just imagine if an NBFC X is there. Now it is investing, say, some amount of money into a project P. Fine. Now, if it is investing some amount of money in project P, it is going to get economic profit in future. Fine. Through interest or profit, whatever is the arrangement between the two parties. Okay. So it is going to get economic profit. So what it will be? It is an asset for the NBFC. Fine. Now, what is liability? Because NBFC is getting the money, or the source of fund of NBFC is a certain bank or certain mutual fund, anything. So this source says, let's say S, is giving money to NBFC to invest somewhere against the commercial paper, which works as a guarantee, which NBFC gives to the bank that as a guarantee, and against that commercial paper, this bank is giving money which NBFC is investing somewhere. So this is asset, and this loan, that fund, the sourced fund, is the liability. Why? Because NBFC has to pay it back. Now, what is the mismatch? Mismatch lies in the difference of maturity period. Now, let's say generally NBFC get loans or the funds for a short term duration. Let's say the loan is for 1 year. Okay, so the maturity period of liability is 1 year. Now, asset is a let's say it is an infrastructure project. Now, generally the gestation period of infrastructure project is very long, and let's say calculation went wrong, and this project is going to take 10 years. Now, the profit portion, that is asset, NBFC is going to get in around 10 to 12 years, starting to get. Okay, but the maturity period of the liability is 1 year. Now, this mismatch of maturity period is known as asset liability mismatch, and there are several instances, and this was true for the IL and FS trouble in 2018. There was an acute mismatch of asset versus liability. The projects were maturing way later, and the maturity of the liability was way earlier. Fine. So whenever there is an asset and liability mismatch, you are in trouble. The company is in trouble. And so is the bank, because lender is not going to get the money in time, so NPA will rise. Now comes the second topic, the rollover risk. What is it? Let's take this example again. Now this company X decides to repay the loan by doing what? By reaching out to another bank. Another bank, you can say U. You can name it U. Now it has asked you to give 100 rupees to pay this the debt of S against the commercial paper. Now this bank agrees. Now what this X will do, it will take money from you and will give it to S. Now again, this project is further delayed. Now there is problem of repayment of loan to U also. Now this company will reach out to W that, okay, give me money, I will give it to you. But now somehow W checks the balance sheet and found that there is no economic prudence in the business of X and refuses to give, because there is a rollover risk that someday they will reach out to some other bank to pay our loan. So what these two events will create is a vicious cycle. The third point, because now the bank is facing the challenge of growing NPA because they are not getting their money back, and no new organization or bank is ready to give loan to the X. And X not getting money is resulting into further delay of this project. So what we talked in introduction, the Lehman moment, the spillover effect. Now the bank, the lender bank is also struggling, the NBFC is also struggling, and the project is also struggling. Fine. So this will create a vicious cycle, and this will create a trouble. Now, there was another reason which was peculiar to the COVID event. Now, what happened during COVID? Government opted for expansionary policy. Now, post-COVID, it again contracted. Okay, tight money policy. So these were two extreme phenomena during COVID and after COVID. Now, what happened? The rate of interest for the borrowing of against commercial paper rose exponentially. Now, NBFCs were facing difficulties in garner credit at a suitable or a feasible rate. And it further caused delay in credit creation in the market. Okay. Then there is another challenge, which is related to the working and you can say the structure of the NBFCs itself. Now, let's take example of ILNFS. Now, you can see that I took some examples: Muthoot, Shriram, and Bajaj Finserv. If you are aware of these companies, you know that they have multiple portfolios. They invest in several projects, several fields, several sectors. Now, this ILNFS had 27 direct subsidiaries and more than 150 indirect subsidiaries. Just imagine around 180 subsidiaries investing in different projects, different sectors. So it became difficult to maintain the accounting altogether. The scrutiny part was flawed. Okay, it became very difficult to audit the accounts, to keep an oversight on their functioning. And this is true for most of the NBFCs. Other issue which created the crisis, as we discussed, that in India there are lags related to the land acquisition, then environmental clearance and other, and which in turn results into delaying in the infrastructure projects. Now, when infrastructure project gets delayed, it automatically you may say results into higher cost, increased cost, raised cost, which anyone cannot calculate while bidding for it, while for or you may say planning for investment. So this cost overrun again puts these NBFCs in spot, because they have already borrowed the money against some calculated you may say profit or loss analysis, but now that analysis is gone because the project cost is rising. Again they are in trap. And another issue which is related to the governance part is the lack of integrated regulation. How? Now, some NBFCs are regulated by RBI, while some which are investing in mutual funds or the share market are being regulated by SEBI. Sorry. Now, while others, like those which are investing in insurance and other fields, are regulated by IRDA. Now, there is no umbrella organization or centralized organization for the oversight of the working of NBFCs. So there is plethora of NBFCs, their sectors are diversified, and the oversight agencies are also many. So there is no clear picture at the hand of RBI. Okay, because things are so vastly distributed that RBI doesn't get an objective overview of working and functioning of any particular NBFCs. Fine. So, having discussed the reasons for the crisis, let's look how this crisis impacts the economy. Now, simple to understand, the banking sector. Now, if banking sector is facing, because they are not getting their money back, rise in NPAs, that is non-performing asset, it will create a problem in credit creation. It will go down, which will, now when there is no credit in the market, no money in the market, or you may say the accessibility to credit is difficult, it is bound to slow down the economy altogether. And that is why we said that this ILNFS debacle was a threat to Indian economy altogether. Fine. Then the infrastructure financing, another issue. is, as you see, if you can take an example that Chennai and Nasri tunnel was funded by a NBFC. Now, when NBFC is in trouble, it is bound to hurt the infrastructure project. Fine, they will be delayed. There would be cost overrun. Okay. Now, NBFC is a major source for loans to MSMEs. Now, when they face difficulty, the NBFCs face difficulty, it is bound to result. It will result into low credit for MSMEs. Now, low credit for MSMEs will result into low investment, low productivity, and low employment altogether, employment generation. Then the equity market, challenges related to equity market. Now, one company is not performing well, people will rush to sell off the share. The share market will come down abruptly and affecting the entire equity market. Fine. Another issue is debt market. Now, if an NBFC is, you may say, is witnessing decline, and due to this, the credit ecosystem is disturbed. So the other companies which want a loan or the investment from the market will face difficulty because there is no credit. The credit creation is very low. So the entire gamut of economic ecosystem will be affected because they will be having trouble in getting loans. Fine. Then the mutual fund companies, now they invest heavily in NBFCs, but mutual fund companies have to repay their commitment to their customers. Like you have invested in a mutual fund. Now that mutual fund has invested into an NBFCs. Now NBFC has flawed the debt. Now NPA, it has become an NPA, but the mutual fund has a commitment to pay you back. Now they will face the pressure. Fine. So they are going to feel the heat of this crisis. Further, the credit agencies, the credit rating agencies which have rated these NBFCs in good category, they will also lose credibility after any high rated NBFC flaws its loans or kind of fails altogether, as was the case with ILNFC, ILNFS. Fine. So these are the impact, and you can see it can impact overall economic ecosystem or outlook of the economy. Fine. So how to prevent? First thing, as we saw that there are multiple regulators, so one must need an integrated monitoring, and as was suggested by RBI also, that there should be an integrated monitoring of NBFCs. Despite having multiple regulators, one must have integrated monitoring. Second, there should be an objective criteria for credit rating, and providing any credit should be based on a, you may say, transparent analysis of this credit rating. It should not be bypassed. A company should be provided fund or loan only when they have a credible and transparent credit rating. Now you know, addressing the asset liability mismatch, how you will do to maintain certain liquidity as a reserve. And RBI has proposed a liquidity reserve, which is an action in right direction. Now RBI has mandated that they must keep certain amount of money as a hedge against their loans. So there should be a liquidity reserve. Okay. Another suggestion is, as the banks and mutual funds invest heavily in NBFCs, this should be discouraged. They must invest in diverse fields, and their overexposure to NBFCs and investment in NBFCs should be minimized. Okay. Further, Economic Survey of 2019-2020 recommends another set of recommendation, which is related to the strengthening of credit rating, where it suggests a health score methodology, where it suggests that there should be an objective criteria and a periodic analysis of performance of NBFCs, and there we should provide a health score, that how it is performing. It is performing good, poor, average, anything. Then on the basis of this health of the NBFC, in time of the crisis, funds should be given to those companies only which are scoring better in this score methodology. So there should be an optimal directing of the capital infusion. You should not just randomly infuse capital in all the NBFCs or several NBFCs. Those who are performing better through this health score, you can analyze this with this health score, and then only provide them fund. Further, it says that there should be a threshold of wholesale funding. It should not be abrupt or vague. So that's the overall coverage of the NBFC sector. I hope the topic is clear to you. That brings us to the second topic of discussion today, which is related to this news, which featured on page number 18 of the Indian Express newspaper. Now, United Kingdom has brought a bill where it is contemplating to put India into safe state list. We will discuss this term. And it is related to asylum rights of the migrants, or you may say asylum rights of the migrants. So what is this state list, and what is this asylum issue? This topic is important from your examination perspective, in sense that you must understand some keywords which are featuring in news, because UPSC has been asking some random questions also in prelims, as they asked a question on bail and all. So you must have a grip over the key terms. You can make a difference between key terms. First thing, so here in this discussion, we will be covering the difference between asylum, refugee status, and what is a migrant. And if you want to refer to the previous year UPSC questions in 2022, it has asked a question based on refugees. Okay, so now try to attempt this question and let us know your answer in the comment box below. Another question that featured in 2014 mains examination, it reads as, how does illegal trans-border migration pose a threat to India's security? Discuss the strategies to curb this, bringing out the factors which give impetus to such migration. So now this bill has been tabled, so there is going to be a debate, and we will cover all these aspects like migration, its reason, impacts, and solution in our subsequent discussion. Here we will be limited to understanding the three key terms, that is asylum, refugee, and migrants. Okay, we will also look what India's stand on this issue. Okay, fine. So this would be the summary of our discussion on this topic. But before moving to that, we must understand what is safe state list. Now, United Kingdom is under the obligation of Convention on Human Rights. So there are many illegal migrants to the United Kingdom. So deporting them back, like sending them back to their source country, is always a question of debate in United Kingdom. So as a signatory to this Convention of Human Rights, they have an obligation. They make sure that United Kingdom makes sure that person to whom they are sending back to their native country should not be persecuted. And there should be a protection to their human right. There should not be a human right violation if they are sent back to the native country or the country of origin. So when they after their analysis, when they are sure that certain states will not compromise or will not encroach upon the human rights of an individual who is being sent back, they term that state as a safe state. So now India along with Georgia is going to be in the safe list of UK. Okay, other countries include countries of European Union, Switzerland, Armenia. So they term these states as a safe state because they believe that person that whom they are sending back to their native place will be safe and there would be no human right violation. So they are planning to put India into this list, and that is why the name is safe state list. And what will it do? It will make the illegal deportation of or the sending back of illegal migrant channelized affair. It will become a legal. There would be a channel proper procedure through which they can send back the illegal migrants. So this is the significance of this bill with regard to United Kingdom and India. So let's begin our discussion understanding three key terms, and then we will look into what India's stand is about this issue. So refugee is a simple term. You all must be aware of that. If a person is compelled, now this word is very important, compelled to leave his native country or place of origin due to threat of persecution or human rights violation. Okay, now the person is compelled to leave his country because of threat of persecution or grave threat of human rights violation. Now this person or a group of person believes that the government is either unwilling to protect their right or incapable of protect their right. So what they do, they migrate to some other country as a refugee. Now according to international convention, taking refuge is a right. Okay, now what is asylum seeker? Now in simple word, asylum seeker is refugee in waiting. Now certain person wants to again protect himself or herself from persecution or human right violation, and if one thinks that there is a grave concern regarding the life, threat to life or human rights, they seek asylum to another country. So the condition is same as that of refugee. But what happens once they ask for asylum, the local government, I mean the country's government in which you are seeking asylum, or the UNHCR assesses your claim. It verifies that whether you are eligible to be tagged as an refugee or not. And after assessing your criteria or your application, they tag you as a refugee. And it is also considered as a human right. Okay. So asylum seeker is a refugee in waiting, one who has applied to get refugee status. Fine. Now the third term is migrant. Migrant is simple. There is no common, universal, acceptable legal definition for this. Migration can be done on any pretext. Either you want to study abroad, or due to economic reason that you want to work somewhere, or you want to reunite with your family, or you want to you may say relocate yourself for a better life perspective. It can be due to any reason, n number of reasons. So anyone who is moving to some other place and is not falling under category of refugee or asylum is a migrant. Fine. So these three terms have this basic difference. So now what is the, now you know that if a person, now related to the news, that if a person is going to a United Kingdom and seeking asylum, so now by passing this bill, United Kingdom can simply check the criteria, and if it decides that no, this person is not fit for giving refugee status, it can simply send this person back to India. Earlier, they will not send because of their human rights obligation under the Convention of United Nations. Fine. So, what is the position of India and why it is an important matter? So, there is one legislation, or you may say umbrella convention, that is 1951 UN Convention on the Status of Refugees, and its 1967 protocol. India is not a signatory to this. Okay, India has neither signed this treaty nor ratified the protocol. Okay, what it defines the refugee as any person who is outside their country of origin and unable or unwilling to return to well-founded fear of persecution for reason of race, religion, nationality, membership of particular social group, or political opinion. This is the official definition as per the UN Convention. Fine. India is not signatory to this. India has not ratified the protocol. So, what are the pros and cons? Pros lies that India can act in the manner which it likes. First thing, what is the con? That again, this discretion itself is a very questionable or a debatable topic. That absence of any particular law regarding, and India is also not having any law related to these refugees or the migrants. Fine. So, in absence of any law, or in absence of signing this convention, there is a very blur line between an economic migrant and illegal migrant. Fine. India can term anyone as illegal migrant and can deport it. India can term anyone as a refugee and will accept it. Okay, fine. So, why it is important for India? Because India is one of the highest recipient of the refugees. As per UNHCR report, there are 46,000 refugees which are registered in India, mostly belong to Afghanistan and Myanmar. 46,000. And India has been a land of continuous migrant refugee inflow. If you can recall that starting with 1947 partition, then in late 50s, there was a mass migration from Tibet. Okay, then in 60s, there was migration from Bangladesh, Chakma people. Again in 1971, there was a mass refugee inflow from the Bangladesh. In late 80s, there was Tamil migration. Okay. And latest, if you will see that in 2020, Rohingya migration. So what we did with Rohingyas, we termed them illegal migrants, and whosoever was caught by the law enforcement agencies were deported back. Okay, while the migrants of Tibet are living in India. So absence of any law provides this discretion. Okay, so this can act as a pro as well as con, because we don't have a clear strategy, a clear regulation which can handle such mass movement of refugees, and pro that we can act in a discretionary manner. Fine. So that is the basic information related to this news article. Detailed coverage of migration issue and illegal migrant will be covered in subsequent sessions of DNS. So that brings us to the last topic of mains discussion today, which is inspired by this news article and which featured on page number 10 of the Hindu newspaper. Now, Indian government instructed social media intermediaries to remove morphed videos or deep fakes from the platform within 24 hours. Okay, earlier it was 36 hours as per the IT rules of 2021. Now they have asked the intermediaries to remove it within 24 hours. Fine. So, emerging technologies in GS paper 3 is an important topic. And as you can see, in 2018, UPSC has asked a question in prelims based on various uh, cyber attacks tools, that is WannaCry, Petya, Eternal Blue, etc. So, UPSC has mentioned this, that emerging technologies, development related to development related to emerging technologies. So the topic of deep fakes is important from that perspective. And recently there are two very ugly incidences where one actress, there was a morphed video of an actress, and there was also a morphed video and photograph of daughter of cricket legend. So this news is reoccurring since last few days. So in this discussion, what we are going to cover is to understand what is deep fake, what are the concerns related to it, does India have any specific regulation or act to deal with such incidences, and what should be the way forward. So let us begin our discussion. So to understand deepfake, simply understand that this is a synthetic media where tools of AI and machine learning are used to morph any image or video. Now you can refer to these two images. These two images belong to Fogart sisters, the renowned wrestlers in India. Now you can see these two images. In first image they are not smiling, while in second image they are smiling. What is important is behind them there are police personals. Fine. Here, just police personals are there. So now, as the characteristic of deepfake, that it is very difficult to distinguish which is fake, which is real. In these two images, you cannot decide which is fake, which is real. So if somebody is using this image, they can claim that these wrestlers are in stress while being arrested, while somebody can spread a fake news that these wrestlers are very happy in police bus, and all their protest and reservations regarding the issue of wrestling federation is just a fake event. They are very much comfortable in this bus. So both the images can be used to spread fake news. And for a normal person or ordinary person, it is impossible to find a distinction that which one is real image. Okay, so what is deepfake? Deepfake is just creating a duplicate image or video using AI and machine learning tool. Okay, and what technology it uses? It uses generative adversarial network, that is GAN. And what is it? There are two softwares which are used. What are the softwares? The first softwares detects and learns the facial expressions, okay, and movement of the you may say the software. Okay, uh, I hope there is some technical glitch. Um, so first software will detect and learn the facial expression and the way you are speaking. Okay. Okay. So it detects and learns the facial expression and your activities, the way you are speaking, way you are moving. Okay. And it will create a duplicate. Now there is another software, the second software, which detects the imprint of forgery, and they will render the video only when the second software detects zero imprint of forgery. Okay, so the second software runs the video again and again, and if it finds any imprint or point of forgery or say signs of forgery, it again reruns and improves the video. And ultimately, when that video is free from any forgery imprint, then they render it. And that is why it becomes really difficult, or you may say impossible, for a normal guy with normal technological awareness to find a difference between a fake one and a real one. Fine. So this is the technology that they use, two softwares, one for making and one for detecting any forgery imprint, and then they render. So let's move on to discuss the issues with deepfake. First is related to misinformation and propaganda. You have circulated a video now in the times of the social media and internet, and the level of internet connectivity we have. By the time you will act to contain any misinformation and propaganda, the damage has been done. Okay, you have seen that in recent riots in Haryana, or in political in elections also, such misinformation and propaganda has they had the capability to change the course of event altogether. Okay, there were no incidents of any violence or violent activity, but these fake videos created those centers as nerve center of violence in during the Haryana riots. There were many incidents of these fake videos and images. Second, when the stakeholder, the one stakeholder is a person uh, to which of which you have created a deep fake video or image. Now, it is a damage to personal and professional reputation. Now, if you know that there was a video of Ukrainian President Zelensky in which he is telling his troops to surrender to Russian troops in face of war. Now, that video was a fake video, and that circulated within the army, fighting army. Just think about the morale of the army. And just think about the reputation of the president. By the time you will take curative action or corrective action, damage has been done. Okay. Another issue is national security. Now you can fake the video of any high seated authority. You can arm twist them. You can blackmail them. And it can be very well used for the espionage purposes. Okay. You can blackmail the high sitting officials by bringing out deep fake videos, and in turn of this blackmailing, you can garner any kind of information that will be threat to national security. And there are many instances of honey trapping in India and abroad. Okay. Another issue is cyber security. Now it is not limited to just morphing the image or video. It can create fake voiceovers also. Okay, you might be listening to Modi ji singing various songs these days in various videos or memes. So they are capable of creating voice overs also. And just imagine where there is you may say authentication through voice command. They can simply create a situation where they can create financial frauds. They can get into the system. They can exercise phishing, malware, viruses, anything. So these are the concerns related to the deepfakes. So what does India have? So again, India does not have any specific rules or regulating AI altogether, but there is an umbrella legislation, and there are IT rules of 2021. As we saw that government has directed that you have to bring down the morphed images or videos after the complaint within 24 hours. Earlier it was 36 hours. Okay, so this is the rule that they have in India, not specifically related to AI or deepfakes, but provisions deal with this. Apart from that, the IT Act of 2000, and to be very specific, section 66D and 66E also deal with the deepfakes, and provisions related to the uh, you may say giving notice or conviction are mentioned in this act. But a proposed this Digital India Bill is hopefully containing the specifics, or you may say concerns related to AI. So that would be a good decision if we will come up with such a broad bill. Okay, so what should be the way forward? First is there should be a dedicated regulation and legislation, as we talked that the proposed Digital India Bill is having provisions related to artificial intelligence and associated concerns. Now, the most important thing, as you know, that it is very difficult to detect which is fake, which is original. So, development of technology to detect the fake video and fake photograph is uh, the bedrock of any, you may say, step or way ahead, because you must have a technology that can immediately segregate the fake one from the original one. Okay, then there should be awareness among people about the potential damage, because we should not be we should be mindful while spreading or forwarding such videos or photograph, because the potential risk to the uh, personal and professional reputation and the security altogether is at stake. So there should be awareness by training programs to various stakeholders to tell the potential threat that is associated with use of AI and deepfakes. Then as we know that collaboration between industry and the academia is very important to reach out to a holistic solution for such menace. So that will be all for the discussion. As I told you at the beginning of the video, there would be no DNS for 11th, 12th, and 13th November for Deepavali. So from Raus IAS team, we wish you all a very happy Diwali. See you on 14th November. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.